First team running back. Once again, it was Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams splitting first team work. The one change that I saw anyway, is that it was consistently Sanders taking the snaps with the first team the very first time each time they go out there. So the way this works is you'll get first team, second team, third team. I'm going to miss this year in Oxnard, here in Bones Fossil. Twos are up. But you'll go first team, second team, third team. They get their reps in, a few plays for each. So when the first team comes in, previously at practices had been Javonte Williams getting those very first reps before they started rotating with the first team. Now it's Miles Sanders getting them. And I think, again, as you watch him, you just see, I think you see more life in his legs. You see more like a fresher player. Yesterday he had this one moment where I was like, all right, that's the kind of thing that I just think shows how juiced up he is right now. Is there was a screen pass, and when in these OTA practices you don't tackle, so guys will kind of weave through traffic and then they start running. But I mean, Miles Sanders got in a full sprint to simulate blocking out in front of the guy that caught the screen pass, and then like full sprinted to the end zone to like, all right, let's simulate this run. He just seems like a run out the ground ball to first base kind of guy. And knowing Schotty and seeing some of the juice that he seems to have at these practices, I think we're setting up for Miles Sanders is going to be the primary back over Javonte Williams when things get going. This is probably
what's going on, Cowboys Nation. So those were the notes from yesterday. Appreciate Bobby Belt for, being able to elaborate on some of the situation. He also talked about tight end a little bit. You might want to check it out on 105.3 The Fan while those guys were talking about their notes, right? So I thought that it was imperative because you guys know that I've been keeping the eagle eye out for the running back position this year because, quite frankly, I want to believe in this room. And so I have to be able to digest things as the info comes to us. I got to be able to say, okay, this is what I believe is happening here, or just based off of my experience, right? And trying to explain that to people. And maybe I'm wrong, but I also try and do some digging from people who are there. I listen to the notes from people, and I try and get some information from people that are there, people that have boots to the ground and stuff like that, to try and piece together what I believe is going on. So that was notes from yesterday. You heard that, he was kind of first. He got the first dibs on reps. And anybody that has been part of any team, you know that when you get the first dibs on reps, you get the first like face value of what it's going to look like. I always try and tell my son, try and be one of the first people to get reps, because even if you get it wrong, you get the opportunity. You get the first crack at getting it coached up. You get the first crack at it getting coached up. But if you do it right, then you set the tone. So Miles Sanders has had the opportunity right now early on to be able to set the tone for this running back room. And we know that Miles Sanders has had a lot of experience with the running back position. So what I heard today, yes, that was yesterday, but what I heard today is that Miles Sanders had an opportunity to end practice with a quote unquote game winning touchdown. You know what I'm saying? He ended practice on a good note for the offense. So that's something of note. Him and Dak, I think Dak scrambled out or something like that, and he was able to find him in the end zone. So we know that he has Super Bowl experience. We hate the Eagles and all of that type of stuff, but Miles did play in the big game. He was part of a deep playoff run, so that does mean something. It at least means something to me, at least. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to talk about some of Miles's good traits. And as you guys are seeing some of the film from last year playing in the background, you can see that he is explosive. And they talked about it. Bobby talked about it when he talked about the screen that he ran yesterday. He's pretty agile. That's one thing that I won't take from him. Like, he's kind of like a Timu Saquon Barkley. Maybe not Timu. You know what I'm saying? Like, Timu means kind of cheap. You getting it from overseas and all that type of stuff. He do got pedigree. Bro came from Penn State. He was behind Saquon there and put up very similar numbers to Saquon. He's not Saquon, but I'm not going to say that he is completely like just Temu. He might just be Walmart brand. He might be great value. That's what we're going to say. Miles Sanders is great value Saquon Barkley. So it's not of the same fabric, but you still you can get by with it, is what I'm saying, right? I ain't gonna lie, great value had some great damn supreme pizza in the day. All right. They probably still do. So ain't nothing wrong with great value if you shop at Walmart. But Dallas, we always talk about the Walmart specials. He has solid pedigree. And what I mean by that is, you know, throughout his whole life, Miles Sanders has probably been one of the best running backs around. So he's somebody that can hang around. I'm not going to say great pedigree. When I look at great pedigree, I do think about like Saquon. I think about like Adrian Peterson. I think about Frank Gore or somebody like that. I'm not Saquon. Miles is somebody that can be in the room with those guys, but he's not going to outdo those guys, if you get what I mean. He belongs, but he ain't going to outdo nobody that of that caliber. He has the experience that we talked about, and he does have success. We look at this roster, we look at the running backs, and we try and figure out which of these guys have had success. One year he did have a lot of success, almost 1,300 yards behind that Philadelphia offensive line. And if we feel like this offensive line is going to be as good as we think it is, we need somebody that has had some success behind the good offensive line, and that is Miles Sanders. Now, some of the bad traits that I look at is that he's not overly physical. You know what I'm saying? No real recent success. That success was 3 years ago, and he's been a journeyman ever since. That's another bullet point right there. Journeyman meaning, they didn't replace your ass the last couple stops that you didn't been. They went and got Swift in Philadelphia, and then in Carolina, you know what I'm saying? They didn't got some young running backs, and they didn't got you up out of there. Hell, they didn't replace you with Rico over there. You know what I'm saying? So, that's some of the bad things that we got to kind of look at and keep things real in perspective with ourselves, right? Now, he can do well here, but, those are just some of the facts. So why is he a good fit for Dallas? Guys, we don't got a choice. It's got to work. It's got to work because, you know what I'm saying, Chubb went off the market. J.K. Dobbins went off the market. We didn't find it of value to draft before Blue in the 5th round of the draft. So this has to work. We don't have another choice. And so it's like, what does that mean for guys like Javonte, Blue, Deuce, Maffa? Well, for Javonte, he has a different type of role there, a different type of runner. He's also a veteran who's had some starting experience as well. And I think that that's something that we could use. You know what I'm saying? We could definitely use that on this team, him catching the ball, blocking, and just having a feel for the position. Having a feel for the position has been very important for Shotty and these guys moving forward. Deuce Vaughn apparently is getting reps before Blue is right now. So Blue and Maffa right now are kind of at the back of the totem pole, and they're just learning the things. And so we're going with Phil right now. So that's important for us to know, and that's important for us to know. But right now, it looks like Miles Sanders has the opportunity, as Shotty has talked about, to set the tone, and Shotty is not balking on some of those things he said earlier. So I just want to hear from you guys right now how you feel about this room. Are you willing right now to see how things play out, or do you think that this team needs to keep an eye open for any cuts or anything, or are there any veterans right now that you feel can help this room better than what we got? But I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. We out. Peace.
Turn the pressure up. I don't quit. I don't fold under pressure. I'm the best, and I know I'm the best. And you know I'm the best.